streets somewhat regularly, a little bit less regularly lately because I've been really busy, but this time we are not on my channel, we're on the S4Y channel on YouTube, and I'm going to be bringing some cash game action for you guys. I know there's been some requests in the past to have me stream some poker on the channel, so here you go, you guys are getting it. It's going to be a little preview of some of the kind of stuff that we're going to talk about in homeschool, which starts next week, starts on the 24th of May. You guys can sign up. It's going to be a 5-week course. Week 2 is going to be taught by me. So that's going to be in the first week of June. So we're going to do a little bit of promo for that. We're going to play some cash games, and we're hopefully going to win some money. So I am going to dive right in, and I'm going to load up some tables. So let me get right to that. We have WSOP.com as the venue, as always, considering we are in Las Vegas. And we're going to play some 2-5 no limit. So I'm going to fire up a couple tables right now. And let me see if it's going to cooperate. Hopefully OBS is going to cooperate here. Ah, that's not the right one. That one. There we go. We have liftoff. I'm going to load up 4 tables. So we're going to be playing a good number of hands. Not too many hands. We're not going to be, you know, some kind of frantic multi-table action. We'll play 4 tables. I see a couple people in the chat already. James Moore, welcome. And Brian Benales, welcome as well. Hello, guys. Good to see you guys here. Let me get another table. Let's get on the waiting list for that one because that one's full. But in the meantime, let's just play some heads up against this dude. All right, tile tables. We are good to go, I believe. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, everybody. I think everything is. Everything's in order. So let me get used to my table layout here. We got table 4. I'm switching over to table 4 because we're playing some heads up over there. I'm going to fold the 7-4 offsuit. Pretty straightforward fold. I'm going to be taking an approach here where I stick with a strategy that's pretty well constructed, pretty theoretically sound. I don't know really any of these players very well, so it's not going to be very easy to, you know, to have any significant kind of reads. The 9-7 we call pre. We're going to check the turn here. We just have showdown value at this point. I don't think there's any real need to do anything other than check. And I think if we face a bet, we're probably folding. Probably an underbluffed spot. Oh, we did win the pot. Nice. All right. So I'm going to try to keep up to date with the chat. I want to try to find a convenient place on screen to have the chat up. Okay, nice. I can see you guys in the chat live. I'm going to try to be responding to the chat live here. So we're going to have the stream on the left-hand side. We're going to have my screen on the front. I think we're going to be good to go. All right, so table 1. We're going to go over to table 1, and I need to have OBS up somewhere as well. I'll tell you what, let me make the chat smaller right there. I'm gonna fold that. I'm gonna open the button here on table 4, the Queen 7 suited, and we get 2 folds. Nice and simple. All right, I gotta keep OBS over here so I can check that everything is coming through okay. Can I pop out the chat? Yes. Okay, we're gonna pop out the YouTube chat. That's good. All right, I think everything is sorted. Oops, just folded a hand I didn't mean to fold, but that's fine. Okay, so ace 4 off, table 1, opening the button. Jack 8-4, this is gonna play, I think ace 4 is gonna probably play mostly as a check here. Checking feels slightly better on this board. Pretty low c-bet frequency there. We're going to call. River is a 9. And this just seems like a check back. And he had an 8. That's fine. Excited to have the power mat streaming today. What does that mean? I'm curious what that means, the power mat. Don't tell Berkey I said this. It's alright. As if Berkey would spend time on this stream voluntarily when he doesn't have to. Why didn't I win the homeschool giveaway? I'd like to talk to the manager. Hey, giveaways are not my department, okay? I'm in the coaching department. You're going to need to talk to the giveaway department. I don't know who's in charge of that. I can put you in touch with somebody. Do we have a giveaway department, Andre? I don't think we're big enough to have departments yet, are we? So with 4 tables, we're occasionally going to have times where we don't have a lot of good hands to play, and this is one of those times right now. Normally, I would be playing with 888 caption enabled, which is like a thing that allows you to see in terms of big blinds. But I figured I'd keep the dollar values up there for you guys. Okay, table 4. We're going to open to 2.5 big blinds with Queen Jack offsuit. Shorter stack in the big blind, which is a good sign, and he just folds. Disappointment. KZ Killer 808, welcome. Glad to see you here. So guys, I have my 4 tables up on my screen in front of me. I have my randomizer on screen as well. So thank you. Shout out to Jason Schellenberger, S4Y student, my student as well, for making this great little Excel file that acts as a randomizer. You should commercialize this, Jason. You should sell this stuff. Haven't had to use the randomizer yet. No difficult decisions. All right, we've got pocket 4s on table number 2. It's going to be a button open. We're going to 3x the button because generally the button is going to favor slightly larger opens. When our opening range is quite wide like that, we're going to want to deny equity a little bit more aggressively, so a slightly bigger sizing is going to work well. Mike Hofer, welcome, man. Thank you. Good to see you here. I hope you're doing well. All right, table 3. We have King 10 off. This is going to play as a call, so we're just going to call, and now we might check raise this hand on this flop. I have been pretty good, James. Thank you very much for asking. I have been pretty good. I'm on a huge heater, and I cannot complain about that. We're going to lead for a smallish size here. King 10 doesn't really want to lead super large there, but we did get a fold anyway. Ace Queen, table 1. Oh, and we have 7-6 on table 3, so we might have to play 2 hands at once here. Noah, welcome, Noah. Hope you're doing well, man. Okay, this is a spot where with the ace of hearts, I think we can have some c-bets here. We rolled a low number on the randomizer though, so we're gonna check. Now we're gonna bet, and I think that neither player really has many flushes here, so we can bet quite large. We bet 27. Now we get 2 folds. Table 2, we have pocket 9s. It's a good spot for a large sizing on the flop. I'm gonna go 22 on this board. Villain's range doesn't contain a lot of the 2 pairs. 9s is a hand that needs to deny a lot of equity, and we get it through. So no interesting or big hands yet. Okay, this is King Deuce of clubs against an open. I think that this is close. I think this is a call. It might be close to a fold, but we don't know. Yeah, now it's a fold. Queen Jack suited, table 4. This hand's going to play as a pure 3-bet versus this open. We're not going to have a flatting range here. We're going to make it something like 40, yeah, something like 4x. McPartridge boy, welcome. Good to have you with us. And we get a fold. So yeah, I don't know anything about any of these players. I have not been a regular member of the cash game player pool on WSOP.com. at any point in recent years or months. We're going to open the queen 9 there. So it's going to be interesting to see how these players play. We're getting 3-bet by Capone here in the small blind. This is just a clear fold, queen 9 offsuit. So Jason says reasoning behind 3x open. The 3x open on the button is just generally on account of wanting to... The 9-8 we're opening there. It's on account of wanting to... needing a little bit more equity denial when our range is wider. So, okay, we rolled a 90 with this 9-8, so we're going to bet the 9-8 for a fairly small size. Yeah, it's on account of needing a bit more equity denial when our range is wider, such as when we're opening from the button. Okay, we got min raised. That looks different. Did he change his hair? I don't know. I look different to how I did a while back, I suppose. Okay, we're gonna call. It's a fairly clear call with the 9-8 there. The min raise is a little suspicious against the small bet. We have some implied odds here, but we also have some reverse implied odds. I think that calling is probably okay. Can I talk about what we'll be covering during the syllabus? Is read the syllabus is symbol you can share. Yeah. We're just gonna fold the 9-8 right there. Table 3 we have 9-5. We're gonna call. What can I share about the syllabus? Yes. The idea is that the 5 weeks, we're going to start with a slightly more, we're going to start with slightly more of a kind of a theory overview, and then we're going to shift more and more towards practical approaches as we get closer to the end. So, okay, so this, I kind of think we have to bluff with the 9-5 here. We're going to make it 118. Call with Queen Jack on table 4. Oh, we got a fold. That's nice. All right, we're going. Oh, I think wait a minute. I think I have the table set up wrong. I think table 2 is, yeah, table 2 is leading to table 1. Table 2 is leading to table 1. Table 1 is also leading to table 1. Table 3 is actually top right. Okay. Okay, so I gotta quickly set up the tables a little differently. Table 2 main, properties. It's not, that's why it's not working. That I think is it. Okay, so Egrin says I have my table set on big blind instead of dollar value. No, I think big blinds is better. I'm just doing dollar value because it's a stream and I want you guys to see how much money we're actually playing for instead of in big blinds. That's all. Ordinarily, I would always have it set to big blinds. Okay, let me just check my tables here. That's table 1, okay. Table 2, that's not table 2. Okay, that's table 2, all right. That's table 3, and that's table 4. Okay, so my layout is a bit mixed up from what I wanted, but that's all right. Let's reconfigure my stream deck. Let's just swap those over. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. I think you have the tables misorientated on the cam. Yeah, I think I do. I think it's, I was pressing, basically what was happening was in my mind, it was table 1 top left, table 2 top right, table 3 bottom left, table 4 bottom right. And in reality, it's top left, top right, bottom right. So I had them mixed up. Where were the results for the homeschool giveaway communicated? I'm not sure. On Twitter. Okay. Thank you, Jason. Jason, we should make you a mod. We should really make you a mod on this channel. Okay. Table 2. We have ace 5, queen 4 deuce. This is going to be a board where I think relatively high c-bet frequency is going to work fairly well. Okay. So we rolled low here. I don't think we're going to continue barreling on that 10 with ace-5. It's not a great candidate. If it goes check-check, we're going to bluff river a lot. Let's see what he does. Nah, he bets fairly large. It's just a fold. We have queen high. This table 3, heads up, blind on blind. And we win against 10-6. Nice. So no big pots yet. Took down a couple, but nothing major, nothing interesting. Hope you guys are getting hyped up for some World Series of Poker action later in the year. WSOP Online in July. It's going to be a big time for me as a tournament player. WSOP Live, also going to be a big time for me as a tournament player. And if you have any vague interest in poker, you should be doing everything you can to get to the World Series in October and November. It is going to be the best World Series of all time. Okay, so table 2, we have Jack 8 suited against a low Jack open. We're going to fold this. It's not a call. To go back to Brian's question about the homeschool syllabus. Oh, we got kings. That's nice. We're going to be shifting from more theory at the beginning to more practical stuff later on. And that's the reason for the layout being what it is. My week 2, we're going to go pot size 3-bet with a little bit less. So 37 is good. Yeah, my week 2, we're going to be starting with a bit of a guide to the concept of equilibrium and what pre-flop equilibria look like, looking through a lot of pre-flop ranges for... Wow, we got kings again. We got kings back to back. That is nuts. Yeah, we're going to be looking through the... looking through some pre-flop ranges for some theoretical concepts about equilibrium. And then we're going to be moving into session 2 where we essentially focus on... Oh, we flopped a set. That's nice. We're gonna bet here. We're gonna bet real small. We're gonna bet like 9 quarter pots. Seems pretty good. Okay, so yeah, we're going to... Session 1 of my week is going to be about pre-flop and general equilibrium concepts. Session 2 is going to be more about flop concepts. We're going to overbet here. We're going to bet 85. I flopped a nut flush draw on another table, and we checked back. So let's look at table 4. We're going to call this turn. McPartridge Boy was told to 3x in the small blind and 2.5 everywhere else. Yeah, I mean, 2.5ing everywhere else is not... Like, 2.5 is not going to be that much of a difference. Like, it's really not a big deal. It's just a question of, you know, some slightly different theory aspects that go on when we're looking at button situations compared to other spots. Colombian Cocaine, thank you. I'm glad you like the Navigating the River course. Very glad to hear it. I made that course at fairly short notice. We had some logistical complications, and I'm glad it turned out well. I'm glad you guys liked it. Oh, we got paid with the nut flush. What did he have? What did he have? He had Queen Jack. Wow, he had 2 pair. Okay. Can't really fold 2 pair there. Attila has been in the NLO and NL and PLO streets for a long time. I remember playing with him in the Bankroll Challenge. Ah, okay. I don't recognize that player, so thank you for the info there. Probably a reg, I suppose. So a good start so far. Won a couple decent sized pots. Flopped a set, made the nut flush. We're going to probably go for about 2 hours today, guys. So that's just a byproduct of oh, did I just... Yeah, I just folded pocket 4s. That hand is mostly going to be folding here. You could make an argument for opening it. but it's like a, at equilibrium, it's going to be like a 10 to 15% open at the in the low jack there. So I think folding it is fine. I could have opened it, but I was I was busy putting lip balm on. Anybody who lives in Vegas knows about the need for lip balm and lotion. Yeah, so session 3 of my week in homeschool is going to be more about turn and river concepts. Oh, this 9-6 is going to be a... We rolled pretty high. I think we can... we should probably limp it. Rolled high again, so we're going to 3-bet pocket 5s on table 3 from the small blind against button. This hand is not a great candidate for 3-betting, but against the button it can. I can't moderate myself. Don't want the responsibility to moderate anyone else's, Jason. That's funny. Yeah, that's fair. All right, 9s here. This hand is going to be about a 50-50 at equilibrium, but we rolled low, so we're going to call. If the opener is from a later position, it's going to play as more of a 3-bet. Oh, we flopped a set again. Wow. This is what happens when you're on a heater, right? This is just how it goes. Okay, I think I'm going to be betting a slightly more polled range here, so we're going to go about half pot. I'm not going to be betting much of a 9 here. I'm going to bet a king, some gut shots, some flush draws, and not a lot else. Wow, we got raised. We got raised. Okay. It's tempting to 3-bet here, but I don't think that we have a lot of 3-bet hands here, so we're just going to call. That's not a great turn. Queen 10 and 10-8 both got there. Oh my gosh, we just flopped a full house on another table. We just flopped a full house down here. I'm just going to go back to the other one. The set hand is probably more interesting. Yeah, we have to call here. There's some rivers we might be able to fold, but not many. That's probably not one. Spades didn't get there. Don't think 10-8 off, and well, Queen 10 off is in there. But King 7 is also in there. Pocket 7s is also in there. Yeah, we beat some value. We can't fold. Ah, here's Queen 10. All right. It is what it is. Yeah, you can't fold when you beat some value there. Set's too close to the top of range. Travis says, when is WSOP cash going to be for USA players? That I don't know. I'm definitely not an expert on the legislative nature of US poker. This could be a 4-bet. King 10 off is not a bad 4-bet in this kind of situation, but I think we're going to fold. How would I go about buying action? What is your minimum percentage you're selling? Do you mean how would you go about buying my action? There are a couple ways. You can just DM me on Twitter and we can talk about it. I don't necessarily want to talk about it a ton on here because this isn't a platform for me to sell my action, but yeah, you can drop me a DM on Twitter. Okay, this is a weird spot. This guy is basically bombing pot on this flop. We have a lot of equity here. I'm just going to be all in with this against the short stack. He has kings. Whatever. He was going to have kings a lot there. Okay, table 3, ace 10 suited. This is a pretty high frequency 3-bet here. We rolled pretty high, so we're going to make it a 3-bet. Going to 3-bet quite large, and we get a fold. And we rolled high here. King 6 is going to be a bit of a raise with some frequency here. King 7 suited, table 3. We rolled high on that one as well, so we're going to raise. Yeah, JB is right. I've been posting on Twitter a little bit, selling action for the win 10K in a few weeks. We're going to... Oh, ace 9 is going to play mostly as a call here, so we're going to call. Wow, we flop trip eights. We're flopping a lot of strong hands. This is what happens when you're on a heater, guys. Bet like 30%. Okay, so ace nine here. I think this plays probably pretty well as a check back. I'm gonna go back to the trip eights hand. Now we're gonna bet again, but we can't bet too big because we're betting into an uncapped range that does include 9-6 with some frequency. So 37 is good here, I think. And this action is a little bit quicker than I expected here, honestly. Let's go back to table 3 with the ace 9. Okay, we have pocket 5s, table 1 against the low jack open. This is a very low frequency 3-bet. We're just going to fold. Okay, bottom left, we called with jack 10 against the turn bet, and we made the nuts on the river. This is insane. We're just making so many good hands right now. It's crazy. We're going to raise quite large here. Our range is really poled, so I'm going to make it a really big raise. 240. Now we have we check raised on this flop. Wow, we got called. That's awesome. We check raised on this flop. We're going to bet fairly small here. We have some jack X hands that might be going for thin value on this turn. Breakfast pal. Yeah, I feel you, man. Now we're gonna bet. We're gonna kind of block bet here, almost like small size. We're not necessarily okay. We got called by a queen. That's fine. Okay, we are limp calling jack 9 blind on blind here. Check call is gonna be good here. At what stake levels do you start limping small blind? Obviously, lower stakes is higher rake. We don't want to limp, I assume. We made the straight again. I think that it's hard to say, honestly, because I've seen, like, I have solved ranges for a lot of these spots with X% rake. But unless you know exactly what the rake percentage is for each stake, it's hard to know exactly at what point limping becomes viable, but I do think opponents make a lot of mistakes against it. I would say certainly at these stakes that I'm playing 2-5, like I would expect that limping is kind of necessary. This guy's just min raising me here. I mean, he might have a 9 here. I'm just gonna call. Yeah, he had a king. Of course he had a king. Okay, table 2, ace jack. We're gonna raise. Am I using an RNG? Yeah, I am. I wouldn't be bothering with it if I was playing lower stakes, but at 2-5 online, I think it's pretty, I wouldn't say it's necessary, but it's definitely a good idea. We're gonna check raise. Oops, sorry. Check raising on this hand. Queen 3 on jack 8 deuce 2 clubs, queen 3 clubs. So we check back ace jack on that flop. This hand is just gonna pretty much play as a check down. A lot of the time here, there's not really much reason to value bet. I would show you guys my RNG, but I don't know my OBS settings that Andre just configured for me. I don't know how to get it on screen. Kinda think we should just call. Probably lose a lot. Oh no, yes, jack 9. Okay, so bottom left, 10-9. We're gonna call here. I think without a heart, this is not gonna be a hand that we should raise with any significant frequency. Is the sign-up process pretty easy on WSOP? Yes, absolutely. From what I can remember, it is. Oh, we turned a set. We made a set on bottom right. We're gonna check. I think I'm actually going to check raise this river. You check back. That's fine. I think river check raises in those spots are pretty sneaky, but I'd imagine he's using RNG for bet sizing, post flop, and aggression. I'm using RNG for any kind of mixed strategy, so pre-flop and post-flop. Okay, so ace king in the small blind, we're going to pot it and then go +2 again, so 4.5x. Attila's opening to min here. Don't think this is fantastic pre-flop in cash, but it's okay. It's not the worst. It's probably better than opening 4x. Oh, we have kings again. We've got kings 3 times already. Pocket kings 3 times. That's probably good. Well, we've gotten a lot. We've actually made a lot of good hands so far, but we've gotten stacked once. Oh, we got 4-bet. We also got 3-bet by the same guy on a different table at the same time. Kings is going to play as a call here a lot of the time. I don't think I have much reason to be 5-bet jamming. I think my overall strategy there is going to have pretty few 5-bet jams. We're going to bet here like 78. You check calls. I think I'm going to check back. I think that this is a spot where checking back is justifiable. Kings doesn't need a lot of denial. We can't fold here. Ace king. Boom. There we go. All right, so we 3-bet on the top table. Flop is 9-4-3. We're going to go for a fairly large size there. 10-9. This is button against big blind. He calls. So I don't expect him to call with a ton of overcards here, so I don't think the queen is an especially bad card for my range, but it is a card that I'm going to have to check with a pretty high frequency, so... Well, actually, I think it's a card I can bet small. I think it's a card I can continue. It's a good equity card for my range, but it's not a very polarizing card, so I think I can continue with a high frequency here. Small size. Okay, he calls. Now we're probably going to check. Oops, stopped the music by accident. I think we're going to check. Don't expect to see a lot of aggression from him once we check. If we do, probably folding. Pocket 7s are in his range. Some Queen X is in his range. 6-5 might be in his range. 9-8, Ace-5. Huh. Yeah, I kind of feel like I still have a decent chunk of hands to call with here, and 10-9, Jack-9, sorry, 9-10 rather, blocks some of his bluffs, like Jack-10 of, well, Jack-10 of spades is probably not calling. Got myself into a weird spot here, honestly. Not super sure what to do. I don't think he has a ton of value. Yeah, I'm going to call 6-5. Damn it. That's not a shock. That's not a shock to see 6-5. I mean, it's not a big part of his range. Like, if he has all 4 combos of 6-5 suited, he probably has most of the Ace-5 suited. I suppose Ace-5 suited is going to 4-bet some frequency there. So... we rolled low here. I'm going to limp. L-Dogger says, where's PLO streams? I am not really a PLO guy. Don't play a lot of PLO. I like it. It's fun, but I'm not good at it. Definitely not out there in the streaming streets good. If I played PLO on stream, we'd be playing a lot lower stakes, I can tell you that. Okay, we could bluff this turn. It's not a bad spot to bluff because this is a board that gives us a lot of equity. I think I'm going to bet fairly small size here. Small size, high frequency on that board from this position. Now, I can have a block size and I can have a polarized size here. And I think I probably want to have a polarized size with this hand. I'm going to go large. And he folds. That's nice. If you want his RNG, DM me in Slack. I'll send it to you. Yeah, Jason's RNG is great. Thank you, Jason, for this RNG. Got it on the side here, just constantly spinning around. All right. 7-4 suited on table 3. I think this is an open. I think we see bet here. Kind of need to bet a fairly large size, I think, with this hand. This is a decent spot for a large size. We have some outs that we can pick up. Like that. That's one of the best cards in the deck. We're going to barrel again. It's a fairly polarizing card, too, in terms of equity. All the draws got worse, or the value hands got better. We're going to bet 113. Set up for a river shove. Boom, he folds. Nice. Okay. Table 4, Queen 7 suited. This is going to be an open. 1250. Stu Guts. Thank you, Stu. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that, man. I always enjoy hearing from you guys about any aspect of my work that you guys are getting value out of. Very much enjoy knowing that you guys are getting something out of what I'm doing. So thank you. Appreciate it. I hope I run well too. Okay, so pocket fives, we opened here. Thanks for Din. Calling in the big blind. This hand, I think it needs a lot. It just needs a lot of equity denial. I think we should just bet. I'm gonna bet 7, really small. And he folds. That's nice. So we've gotten, I don't want to say cooled off twice. We got cooled off once and we bluff catched against the nuts once. Playable Jank, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, man. Or woman. Or non-binary person. Okay, 7-4 suited. This is going to be a pretty decent calling hand here. Even 200 bigs deep. We flop a lot of stuff. Which is good. The ace is a card that is very good for our opponent's check back range, so we're mostly going to just check here. Check raising is a possibility, but I don't think we need to. I think if I had like a 3 with a flush draw, I probably would, but check calling seems good. Now we're going to check raise. Okay, so pot. Yeah, our range for check raising here is really polarized. It's basically flushes and some bluffs. So we're going to make it 200. If he, okay. I was going to say if he 3-bet shoves, that's going to be an absolute nightmare spot. But he didn't. Because he has a lot of ace-x of clubs in range. Okay, so this is Queen Jack is a pretty high frequency raise here, so we rolled high, so we're gonna raise. This is a good spot to c-bet a pretty high frequency, and I think we can get away with a fairly large sizing too. We have a pretty big nut advantage. The deuce is a card that's good for his range. Not great for mine. I don't have a lot of hands containing a deuce in my range. I'm just going to check the queen jack. This is now one of the weaker hands in my range here, but I also have a decent chunk of thinnish value hands. So we're going to bet fairly small. Barons, he says, is it justifiable to flat call a 4-bet with AA versus button? Yeah, absolutely. Flat calling 4-bets is very reasonable with aces. Okay, table 1. We have 4-5 suited. We open 9-7-4. I think we probably want to check back here. Don't think I want to have too high of a c-bet frequency there. Of course we want to check back because we knew we were going to make 2-bet, obviously. You 5-bet jammed pre. I mean, 5-bet jamming is fine too. Like, EVs are going to be close together. Okay, so we're going to bet like 15. I'm going to bet half pot or just over. Villain definitely has some 6-8 in range potentially. Maybe even some ace-3 as well. I'm not going to bet too large here. Villain is still uncapped to some degree. I'm going to bet 31. Zooted pairs. Thank you. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you very much. Ryan says, awesome to see me streaming again. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it, man. I've been on my own channel a couple times recently. My channel, if you guys aren't familiar, it's twitch.tv/mentalhealthmatt, or alternatively, just go to mentalhealthmatt.live. I stream all kinds of things from mental health discussions to read-alongs of books about mental health, video games, all kinds of things. Mental health support, a very, I think a very lively, but also very well-rounded and down-to-earth group of people on my stream. Very much appreciate my stream audience. Playing through the Uncharted series right now. I need to find more time to stream, but I think I'm going to be live on Thursday. I think we're going to be playing some more Uncharted and doing some more read-alongs on Thursday, probably at around noon Pacific. I think. Crossing my fingers. I think. Okay, table 3, or table 2 rather. I rolled high. I was gonna say I'm gonna check because I rolled low, but I didn't roll low. I don't know why I was gonna say I rolled low. Ooh, ace 9, bottom right. This is actually just a straight fold here, I think. The open was a little smaller though. I probably could have 3-bet that. We have Jack 4. Jack 4 bottom left, we're going to fold. 9-6 top right. King deuce deuce. We're just actually going to check this hand. This is kind of just a give up. Can you break down that 9-10 hand further? Yeah, I can do that at some point when I'm not in the middle of hands. It's kind of tricky to break down hands and play hands at the same time. The essence of it was that I thought that villain did not have a ton of value bet candidates on that river, although it was very close. And I think that a lot of the Queen X folds on the flop. So I think that villain has a decent chunk of ace 5 and potentially some ace 4, ace 3 turned into bluffs in that spot. Also maybe some ace highs that can be turned into bluffs, like some ace jacks and things like that that potentially just arrive with a bluff there because I bet small on turn. Yeah, it's a close spot. I'm not like a massive fan of my call, but I don't think it's ever particularly likely to be like a really heavily losing call. Okay, so this Attila guy is limping the button. We're just going to make it 4x here with the King Jack suited. I don't see any reason to limp here in a cash game scenario. This just can't really be a good strategy. So we'll see what he does. He just folds. Limp folding. Wow. Surprised he didn't jam that 7-4 suited flush. It was too deep to jam. Way too deep to just jam. I think that if you're gonna jam, if you're gonna like jam for like a massive amount like that, like it was like $1,000 over a bet of like $50. If you're gonna jam for 20x the bet, you have to be insanely polarized in the range that you're doing, it with, and 7-4 of clubs there is just not part of an insanely polarized range. It's a it's not a nut hand by any means. It's a flush. It's not the nut flush. So very, very difficult to justify just jamming there. I don't think I would have had much chance to get called by worse. A little bit of a quiet patch, which is nice. Bit of frantic action early on with all those big hands we kept making. So like I said, we're probably going to go something in the region of 2 hours today, maybe a bit longer. It depends how it goes. King 3 suited, this is going to be a fold, although it's close. It's surprisingly close from that spot. It's like King 5, King 6 is the threshold there for hijack opens. Ace 4 is a fold. Oof. I got this new lumbar support on my chair, and it's like weirdly imbalanced in some way. My back feels like it's all out of line. It's all good. Okay, so table 1, Jack 9 offsuit small blind, probably going. Oh, this is just a fold now. Queen deuce gonna be a fold. 10-8 gonna be a fold on this bottom left. What do you guys think about the table themes? Do you want to see some different looking tables? You want to see some fancy looking tables? Like maybe what do they have? What are the fancy tables they have right now? Oh, that's kind of nice. I kind of like that. Yeah, I like this. Let's go with this. I like the darker tables. The cards stand out a lot more. This is cool. So while this is a little bit quieter, except for this ace queen, I'm gonna give you guys a bit more info about the syllabus for homeschool. So I'm doing week 2, session 1, equilibrium concepts. Session 2, it's going to be flop textures and flop strategies in a variety of different situations. Data-driven looks at equilibrium scenarios, solved situations. We're going to check back here because this is a board where we don't want to have too many c-bets in this formation. Just going to check back again, to be honest. And session 3 is going to be analyzing turn runouts and river runouts to a certain degree to see how we can categorize those. So 7-8 suited, this is a low frequency 3-bet, but I rolled high here, so we're going to 3-bet against low jack. I may have not rolled high enough to justify the 3-bet. I rolled a 75. I probably would have needed to roll like a 90 in order to actually 3-bet this, but it's whatever. It doesn't matter if we go a little bit too wide. Okay, this is a spot where I think we probably... the 9 is not as good of a card as it seems here because villain's range includes so much king-queen. I think that this is actually probably a check. Oh wow, we got the 9. I hope we don't lose the king-queen. Jordan says, do you play on any other sites? I didn't, but I've recently started playing on ACR. I'm not sure what I think about ACR yet. Okay, so villain's overbetting. We have to call. It's not really a great spot, but we have to call. That makes it an even worse spot. Acro Gum. Kind of feel like we have to. Yeah, I don't know. He can have all the ace queen. We unblock all the ace queen. I don't think we can fold a straight here, but I do think I lose an annoying amount here. Ace queen. Okay, cool. Boom. I don't know why he didn't just shove there. It was weird that he didn't shove. Okay, we have king jack here, blind against blind. We check the flop. I expect villain to be checking back at very capped range, so we're actually going to overbet this turn. It's a good river. It's a blank river. I think villain does have the occasional bit of 3x, but not really a lot. We're going to make it quite large. We're going to go 88. If we get raised here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Probably call. Probably too close to the top of my range. He's thinking about it. Let's see. What do you guys think he's going to do? I'm not going to find out what you say until 5 minutes from now. So there's no point in you guys guessing. He called. And we win. Nice. Alright, we're making a lot of hands so far. This is good. This is good. So yeah, Guide to the Homeschool Syllabus. Berkey is going to be covering some theory aspects and some general heuristics and things like that for keeping in mind pot odds model, all sorts of stuff like that. His specialty. I'm going to be doing a lot of the data-driven, equilibrium-based stuff. We're going to bet small here with a low flush draw. Nick Marchington, who's doing week 3, new addition to our team, is going to be covering practical execution of strategy. So converting some of those concepts related to equilibrium into strategies we can actually execute. Landon, the Phenom, the Young Prince, is going to be covering week 4, looking at some micro level analysis of some spots from, potentially some spots from his challenge against Bill Perkins. And then Chin is going to be covering week 5 and talking about application of some of these strategy concepts in low stakes live cash environments like most of you guys are playing in. Back outer align equals new bueno. Yes. Yes, new bueno. I gotta line myself up here. You know what, guys? I invested in a standing desk recently. It's on its way here. I've had a standing desk before, but this time it's a standing desk with one of those treadmills that goes underneath your desk. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to being on my feet a bit more. Pocket jacks with 4 betting. We get flatted. I get the feeling this Attila guy is probably kind of a fish. And this pocket jacks on this board really needs protection. So I'm actually just going to jam. It's kind of a weird strategy, but I think it works. He folded. That's fine. Fold is fine there. We have pocket 9s, top left, against Acro Gum here. We have a fairly strong hand, but I don't love the line I've taken. Wow, he had ace 3 high. Okay. Yeah, I took a line where I bet large twice on flop and turn, and I started to get to the point where on that river I didn't really feel like I could value bet without fear of getting raised. This Acro Gum guy I definitely feel like is pretty reasonable. He's pretty good. His location or his country is listed as Belarus. You're only supposed to be able to play in Nevada, Mr. Belarus. So what do I mean when I say I rolled high? Am I rolling dice? So rolling is basically using the random number generator. It's kind of like rolling a dice. But the random number generator spits out a number between 0 and 100. And the way I use it is the higher the number I get, the more towards the high end of the potential aggression scale with that hand I'm going to go. So if it's a hand that is going to play as a pure, like if it's a hand that's going to play as a 10% 3-bet and a 90% call, and I roll a 95, I'm going to 3-bet it. If I roll an 85, I'm going to call. But I'm not going to try to use it like in very specific terms. I'm just going to keep it fairly general and use it as a way to kind of moderate my aggression frequencies. What a god, says Andre. I am no god. I am a mere mortal. I am running really good recently though, so feeling pretty godlike right now, gotta tell you. Feeling moderately godlike. We got some big stacks building up here too. These are probably the softest 2-5 online games anywhere. I expect if you play 2-5 online on any of the European sites, on ACR, there's got to be a ton of really tough players in those games. And the players here are tough. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these players aren't tough at all. Like, I just think that WSOP.com in general, if you look at like the tournament fields and the overall player pool, the smaller sites tend to be the softer sites, and WSOP is a pretty good balance of soft and, you know, decent sized. We get led into here with Ace King by this Genji guy. We're just gonna call. It's kind of a weird line. Now we're getting led into twice on another table as well. That's weird. We're gonna check back. Yeah, check back seems good. Kind of feel like Villain has a lot of one pair though. I feel like he has a lot of like 4-5, Ace-3, Ace-Deuce, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really feel like calling. Oops. I don't really feel like calling here. I don't know if raising is good either. We do have some hands that can raise here, but I think we have much better candidates to raise, and I think that pretty unlikely to see this line as a bluff. I'm just going to fold. That's an exploit fold right there, or at least I hope it is. It's an exploitative fold, because I just don't see players leading with a lot of bluffs there. Yo, peeps, smash that like button, says KZ Killer. Thank you. Yes, you know what, I'm not accustomed to doing the whole smash that like button, subscribe, like all the YouTube stuff, you know. Because I kind of do that on Twitch, but Twitch is all different. 165 people watching and only 30 likes. Yeah, that's sad times, man. You guys are making me sad. Making me feel like you guys don't like me. But 165 people watching. I gotta tell you, if all you guys showed up to my Twitch stream, I'd be a Twitch pro in no time. That speaks volumes for the S4Y brand, that I stream on my own channel and I get 10 people. Stream on S4Y channel, I get 165 people. You know, people want the cash game blood. All right, we got King Jack offsuit against the cutoff open. This is just going to be a call, I think. Not an unreasonable potential check raise candidate. We do have a heart. We do have an overcard. Let's see. He bets quite small. Now I kind of feel like just calling, maybe? Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm just taking the aggressive option too much with these hands, so I'm going to call. The queen is a decent card for me, but not fantastic. I think it's going to be probably slightly better for him overall. We're just going to check fold if he bets again here and use King Jack as one of our river bluffs potentially in a spot like this. So him checking back, I think he's not going to have a flush draw very often. He's not going to have a queen very often. I think we can bet fairly large here. 33 is good. Gary says, is all content downloadable? I am not sure. I gotta say, for someone who works for S4Y, I don't know a lot about the technical details of our site. Huh. Okay, so thanks for Din is raising here. I think to 3-bet this river, I would need an ace of hearts, probably. Or some kind of full house blocker. We're just going to fold. Yeah, Andre can probably answer that question if is all content downloadable. Okay, this is a good board for a large size. We have a big nut advantage here. We're going to make it close to pot. And we get a fold. That's good. Yeah, no problem, suited pairs. Okay, we're going to open the King 7 suited here. It's a pretty high frequency open from this spot. We get 3-bet. This is actually kind of close. And we're going to fold. Is 5-4-3 rainbow flop 100% check under the gun versus big blind, or do you bet a polarized range? I don't think it's either of those two things. I think that it's a board where, like, in terms of nut advantage, the out of position player is going to have more nuts, but in position is still going to have some nuts. So I think that we can bet. We can't have, it's not that easy to have a large sizing there. I would say overall I'm probably going to not really use a large size there. I'm probably going to mostly check or bet small. Okay, so we have King 4 suited, we're going to defend, and now Queen 9 suited, we're going to 3-bet. Oh wait, no, we rolled pretty low. I'm gonna fold. Queen 9 suited is a high frequency 3-bet, small blind against button though. I probably should have 3-bet that, never mind. Okay, so we met a king on turn over here. I'm gonna block, I'm gonna bet 11. Should be getting called by a lot of 9x, 7x. 3 ways to the river. I think we need to just check. Midwest Slot King says Raman Afanasenka is Acrogum. I don't know who Raman Afanasenka is. Maybe I should Google him, but I'm just going to rely more on my impression of him from the hands I've played against him as opposed to someone's reputation. Oh, we've got King Queen offsuit on table 4. This hand is fairly decent as a 4-bet here. No, I think I kind of need a slightly better candidate there. When it comes to cold 4-bets, we have to like be a little bit linear in how we do it. Like we have to probably 4-bet there with like Ace-Jack suiteds, King-Queen suiteds, the offsuits. There's no reason to 4-bet the offsuits unless we're 4-betting both the offsuits and the suiteds, because we don't really have a cold call range in that spot. Okay, so we are opening Ace-9 offsuit here. We're getting 3-bet by Capone. This is not a bad 4-bet spot, but I rolled pretty low. I'm just gonna fold it. I keep rolling low in the spots where I my impulse is telling me to be aggressive and I'm rolling low, and it's like, that's kind of the good thing about using an RNG that I've discovered. I didn't used to use an RNG until about 6 months ago. The good thing about using an RNG is it keeps your impulses in check. Like, if you have the impulse to just play more aggro, it stops you from going too far overboard with that. Ace 9 10. We're gonna check back with Jack 10. Skull Kid bets. Anyone know his Twitch handle? My Twitch handle is Mental Health Matt. mentalhealthmatt.live or twitch.tv/mentalhealthmatt. Thank you, Christopher. Do drop me a follow. We're going to overbet here because this is a really good card for our range. With Jack 10. Joe says, been out of my outdoor exercise, just smash the like for you, Matt. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you. Sulfur Y regular, Joe Volpe. Sulfur Y legend. I might go so far as to say legend. Joe's been in, I think, both homeschools, maybe. Joe's been here forever, I feel like. Joe's been in every mastermind. He's been in every homeschool. He's been in all the stuff we've done. And thank you for smashing the like. So we're about an hour in so far, and I would have to say I think we're up money. The 10-8 suited here. This is going to be a call, I think, button against cutoff. It's a little bit loose. I think people call generally too much on buttons, but I think this call is fine, especially with a fishy guy in the big blind. What was I saying? Yeah, I feel like we're up money. I'm not really keeping track, but I feel like we're up money. We're going to bet small here, just as a way to clear up our equity a little bit. Get called by some worse 8s, get called by 6-7, deny equity to the overcards between the... Man, we just made trips. Oh, man. I can't believe that we just made trips again. We're going to bet small again because we're betting into an uncapped range. So we got to bet small. Now we made the full house. Crazy. So it's going to be over bet time, I think. Or maybe not. I don't think we can bet that big. Go pot-ish. Something like that. And he just folds. Trying to get called by a 5 there, but probably hard to get called by a 5. All right, pocket 4s, top left. Oh, we just get a fold. It's not a very interesting spot. Yeah, we built up some stacks. I feel like we are... I feel like we are doing well, probably, despite losing a couple hands. Feel like. Not really sure. Oh yeah, okay, so I checked my account balance. I kind of have a good idea of what it was at the beginning of the stream. And I think we're up like 500 bucks so far. I think. All right, bottom left, we are on, we have ace 8 suited. We're going to open that one. Attila right here. Pretty sure this guy is on the fishier side. Yeah, he cold calls. Ace 8 suited is a pretty decent 4-bet candidate in this kind of a formation, especially with the fish in the middle. I'm actually going to go ahead and 4-bet here. This is not even something I'm going to roll for. I just think this is a really good spot. We're going to go fairly small, 115. Get the middle guy out of there. Genji. Queen 7-6 in a 4-bet pot. I think in a 4-bet pot like this at a really low SPR, we're going to bet incredibly small. We're going to bet like $37. This sounds insane, but we're going to bet like 37. My Twitch channel is mentalhealthmatt.live. I said it a couple minutes ago. You guys might not have heard. Deuce of clubs. I don't think villain has a lot of flushes. We might just barrel off here. We have an ace. I'm gonna bet $98. How often do I stream? Right now, I'm streaming basically whenever I can find the time. It's kind of tough. I used to stream mostly Tuesday and Thursday. I try to keep it to Tuesdays and Thursdays. Oh, we got a fold. That was nice. I try to keep it to Tuesdays and Thursdays. That tends to be the easiest days, but sometimes I stream on weekends too. Gary, I'm not sure what exactly you're referring to, but if you're referring to homeschool, the homeschool content is absolutely downloadable as soon as it's done. So homeschool videos, you can rewatch. I believe you can download and rewatch. You can rewatch them anytime. If you're paying for homeschool, I believe that's the case. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the case. The video, I think that earlier on, I'm sure someone probably just thought that you were referring to the videos from the main site. Okay, bottom right, we have King Jack suited. This is going to be a call against this 3-bet from Anesthetize here. And we flop a king. Of course we do. We're flatting a 3-bet from Acrogum here with King 6 of clubs on a different table. For homeschool, okay. Yeah, for homeschool, I think it's different. I'm not 100% sure, but for homeschool, I know you're going to be able to rewatch all of the classes. I just don't know specifically if it's via download or via the site itself. That's what I'm not sure about. Okay, so this King Jack is looking pretty good. We're going to bet quite small here. Betting pretty much to check back the river. He was having a tough decision against that one. Joe says he'll be in homeschool 2.0, still trying to move up to Alpha Rec. Nice. Glad to hear it, Joe. Everyone's trying to be an Alpha Rec, really. We don't all want to be regs, we want to be Recs. We just want to get infinitely rich and then play for fun, right? That's the goal. Okay, so we're going to bet fairly small here on this board. And yeah, as Ryan says, when it comes to downloading the videos from the site, we already, like, poker content is pirated to an incredible degree, guys. So we have to safeguard our content to some degree. Bankroll was 16.3K if you're curious on the results so far. Thank you. Cool. That's not my whole bankroll, by the way, guys. That's just the amount that I have in my account right now. Okay, that sucks. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Chris. Christopher. Chris Mallard. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, okay, so Andy's in chat says, every homeschool lesson is going to be available, but it won't be downloadable. So whether or not it's downloadable is a question of the software on our site, but it's going to be available to you forever. It's going to be available to watch forever. Okay, top right, we have Queen Jack offsuit. This is a, yeah, we rolled fairly high, so this is a decent 3-bet here. See what Genji does. Played a fair few hands against Genji so far, and he just folds. I gotta say, I enjoy the challenge of these cash game environments, man. I enjoy the challenge. I might have to do this more often. And Jason says, I'm firing up some tables hoping to run half as hot as you are. Yeah, I'm running pretty good, right? This is kind of how I run quite often. I did get cooled off that one time, though. I did lose a set against a straight that one time. And you didn't see me last time I played online cash on WSOP. I got full house under quads for like a big pot. I had pocket fives on 10-10-5. Got it all in on the river. And he just has quad tens. I don't always run this hot. Sometimes, but not always. The 9-6 is going to be a... This is actually not a bad 3-bet candidate in the big blind here. We rolled pretty low, though. We're just going to call. Flop a flush draw. And make a flush. Of course we made a flush. Of course we made a flush, guys. Did you really think we were not going to make a flush? I'm going to overbet. It's a good card for that. Villain doesn't have a lot of flushes. Now we're going to overbet again. If we get raised here, this is kind of scary. I get the feeling if we get raised... I mean, he can't really raise ace-4 here. He just has to try to decide if it's a bluff catch, if it's a spot that he can bluff raise with a blocker. He folds. Okay, that's fine. So we have another hand against Acrocom. This is a 3-bet pot. We opened ace-queen offsuit. Check called flop. Check check turn. I think we're just going to bet fairly large on this river. Not super polarized, but fairly large. And he folds. That's fine. We don't mind too much getting a fold. I gotta stay hydrated. Excuse me. Made sure to mute my mic there. Okay, so queen 8, we open, we get flatted by button. We're gonna bet here. Moderate kind of size. This is a good flop for our range. Villain's gonna have a good chunk of overcards. We turn an 8, so this is going to be a check. Villain possibly has 9-7 in range. Possibly 7-5, but probably not either of those, really. Okay, this is a good blocker bet spot. Is it a blocker spot? Nah, Villain still has some flushes. I'm just going to... Excuse me, I'm just going to check. Villain doesn't have enough 6x and 4x for us to block. Yeah. I don't like this. We block... we don't block anything, really. We block 10-8, but doesn't really not really part of his range anyway. Excuse me. I think we just fold. We gotta fold sometimes, right, guys? Okay, we get 3-bet by hijack. This hand is a fairly high frequency 4-bet, but not super high frequency. we rolled fairly low, so I'm actually just going to call. And we flop an ace. Of course we do. Of course we flop an ace, because we run extremely good. It's tempting to check raise here, but I think honestly I just get too many folds. So let's call. Wow, we turned a king. That's good. Just gonna let him barrel off. We block a lot of value and we unblock every single bluff, so there's no reason to raise now. Yeah, he's probably going to shove river a good frequency here. And he should. I mean, he has a good chunk of hands that can. Ah, well, he checks back. That's fine. Oh, aces alert. Aces against Acrogum. Attila is thinking about something. I hope he... Oh, no. He was thinking and then he sat out. That's disappointing. That's always disappointing. Capone, you gonna do anything? Oh, he calls. Okay. So we're gonna squeeze here. Go quite large. 66 seems like a good size. Especially at this depth. Original razor folds. Ah, both fold. Ooh. Pocket tens, we flatted pre and went 4 ways. And now we're just going to fold. All right, we got ace king on bottom right. Let's go pot. One down. Yeah, Joe, you're definitely not trying hard enough to punt. If you're not punting very often, you might not be playing aggressively enough. Okay, this villain doesn't have a lot of 2 pairs here. This is a good board for a large size. We have a big nut advantage. We have an overpair advantage for sure. Let's go 20 into 26. Nice. We got a fold. Jack 6 suited. I think we can probably call against this really small raise. We just flopped 2 pair. Oh my god. I mean, I think it's kind of funny that our YouTube channel, we titled this Matt Hunt on a heater, because that's exactly what this is. This is me just on a heater, winning pots somehow. All right, we're gonna raise to 34. Kind of need to raise this because it's pretty vulnerable against some better 2 pairs. Any other wife's art in your office? Are you gonna sleep on the couch? There is some of my wife's art in my office. Where is it? It's around the side of the screen, but ultimately we have oh yeah, I have a piece over here. I have some of it over here. Right here. This is some of my wife's artwork right here. We got this thing with a little Google AI thing. We got this lightning bolt thing, and we got this one, which is really cool. I really like that one. It's not hanging up yet because I'm rearranging my office when I get this new desk, but it'll probably be hanging up again soon. Loco Poker says, Matt, you're a savage. I don't know if I'm a savage. I try to be pretty sophisticated. I'm British. I have to try to be sophisticated. If you're British, you have 2 options. You have to try to be sophisticated, or you have to try to be really unsophisticated and be drunk all the time. Those are the only 2 options. And I tend to go for the one that's a little bit less embarrassing. All right, ace 3 against an open here. We're just going to call blind on blind. Check back seems reasonable, but we can get some better aces to fold by betting here, so I actually think betting is probably pretty decent. Acro Gum is a battler, though. I respect the desire to battle. That Jack is a bad card for me. Good card for him. Just gonna check back. We river to 3. I think we're gonna check. Oh, we had King 9. Wow, we actually had some showdown value anyway. Am I drinking out of a scuba tank? I'm drinking out of this thing. It's a very big water bottle. That's what it is. Okay. Ace 9 on 10-7-6. We're going to check that one back. Check it again. Yes, Queen 8. We win. Okay, King 9 suited, we open. Let's go to pocket 6s, top left. 6s is going to be a check on this board, I think. Especially when we have a club. A little bit of equity there. King 10 suited on A7, 5, 2 hearts. I think we probably bet there. We're going to call with Queen, with the 6s now that we have a club. And we make the club. Of course we make the club. I think we actually have enough equity to bet here. Does WSOP know I am streaming? Not that I would be aware of. I would be very surprised if they knew I was streaming. This is an interesting spot. With pocket 7s. Probably have to call, but it's not a great situation. We block a lot of bluffs here. We also have a club. I kind of feel like there's a pretty under-bluffed spot. This might be fairly... this isn't that close to top of range. I'm going to call. Jack 4, wow, okay. Yeah, I kind of felt like he could have some checkbacks on the flop with a 4, but when we're blind on blind, like his bluffs aren't just the 6-7s and stuff like that there, and clubs. His bluffs are some 6-8s, some 6-3, some 6-deuce, some deuce 3, some, you know, all kinds of stuff there. And 7s, I don't know. It's not a great bluff catcher, but it's not a terrible one. All right, top left, I think Queen 10-9 suited from the big blind is going to be a pretty high frequency 3-bet here, so we're going to go with that. So Jacob, what's with asking about WSOP knowing that I'm streaming? Is there a reason why they would need to know? Calling a... I don't think I should call a 4-bet with this hand. Kind of sucks to get 4-bet in that spot, but whatever. Oh, we got aces. We got rewarded with aces. There we go. Gonna 3-bet, of course. Acro Gum is really going hard at me. He's playing hands against me here, blind on blind. We limp call with pocket 5s. Now we're gonna check fold. I did play way more aggressively than I have in the past. That's good, Joe. It's very good. I just pure punted just once. Well, it's okay to pure punt every now and again. All right. Ace 5, oh sorry, Ace 6 suited. We're gonna open right there. It would have been great if you could bring the table you're talking about to the front. I'm trying, dude. I'm honestly trying. Like, it's hard to keep track. It's hard to keep track with 4 tables. We're gonna bet the ace 6 right here. I'm playing 4 tables. I'm trying to make high-level decisions. Are you sure this sun run is for real? Almost seems scripted. No, trust me. If I was scripting it, then I would be running even better than this. If I was scripting it, I wouldn't have lost that queen 10 to, or like the pocket 9s to queen 10 at the beginning. Mario, what's up, Mario? I'm glad to see you here. I hope you're doing well, my friend. All right, we got ace deuce bottom left. This is gonna be a fold, actually. Gonna watch Navigating the River by some guy named Matt Hunt. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. He sounds like a fish. He sounds like he's just the worst player on earth, really. You know what? He sounds like a guy who just runs really good and plays kind of bad, but gets lucky anyway. Better to be lucky than good, right? I mean, I like to think I'm pretty good as well, but I don't know. I'm definitely lucky. All right, 10-8 suited is a fairly easy open right there. That's a fold with 7-5. Excuse me. I'm gonna keep my voice lubricated. Scuba tank, stay hydrated. Exactly. Exactly. All right, where are we at? Ace 8 offsuit. Genji is opening. This is, I think, just going to play as a pure call here, probably. Oh, we've flopped the nut flush draw. Of course we do. Because why the hell wouldn't we, right? I mean, I actually think this is a good spot to check back the nut flush draw. I don't think that I'm really getting any folds from better ace highs. We have a good amount of showdown value. And we have a lot of 6x in our range, so this is a good raise spot right here. It's a really good bluff raise spot. We're going to make it 53. Don't think Villain is going to have that much 6x when he opens pre. I think 6x is going to be more weighting towards limping. Well, he calls. Now I feel like we are pretty much just going to have to bet quite large. So like 127. And he folded. Wow, okay. So we're running pretty good in terms of when people fold as well right now. Jack 10's a fold versus the open. Ace 7 off here. We rolled quite high, so we're going to raise blind on blind. And he just folds. All right, we're going to go potentially just another half an hour. We shall see. We shall see. I don't want to go too long. I'm not a fan of long sessions, honestly. As weird as that sounds for a guy who grinds MTTs or who plays a lot of online MTTs and is used to playing long sessions, I think that long sessions are generally a good way to ensure that you end up playing below your best at some point. And I do a lot of like moderating how I handle sessions to make sure that I can stay at my best when I get deep in a tournament. I definitely don't like to play long cash sessions. I think I would say probably about 90% of cash game players play way too long. Like the number of people I talk to who are like, oh, I play 6-hour sessions and stuff. It's like, you're nuts. Where are you? Like, how are you getting the energy? How are you staying at your best the whole time? All right, so we're going to 4-bet here with queens. 4-bet size of something in the region of 125 seems good. against Acro Gum. We're very deep. I would just get a fold. Yeah, Tim, I kind of agree. I feel like that sevens bluff catch was not the greatest, but against Acro Gum, I'm kind of like, I am conscious that I need to be calling pretty often there. You're welcome, Tim. I am glad you're enjoying it. Where are we? What do we have? We got ace 9. Checking back on 10-4-4. Pretty much just going to check back a lot of our ace highs here again. There's not really a lot of reason to bet. Anesthetize here. Probably, I think we probably have to call if he bets, or if they bet. Now we just check back. He has queen high. Okay, so king queen versus this large size on ace 9-6. We do have the backdoor nut flush draw. I think this is gonna be a fold against the large size though. Large sizes are kind of awkward. I feel like streaming software is usually against terms of service, as far as I know. I got a pop-up warning watching a webinar and got disconnected. Huh. Well, I mean, I have, I know you can't play on WSOP while you're on Zoom. I know for sure you can't be on Zoom, but they have a warning where that pops up where you get told like you can't connect because you have remote software. When it comes to streaming software, I am not aware of any rule about WSOP not allowing people to stream. I know Berkey does it a lot. I know there are other people who've streamed on WSOP. I am not aware of any terms and conditions that specifically relate to streaming on WSOP. I don't know why they wouldn't want people streaming on WSOP. But if they don't, I'll stop, you know? Oh, sure. No, you don't have to get permission or anything. You can stream. Okay, so this is a more interesting hand. We're gonna barrel here with Queen 10. Fairly large. Am I long on Bitcoin? Like, honestly, I'm not much of a, like, I don't really know much about crypto. I just know that I guess I'm long on Bitcoin in the sense that I am, you know, pretty confident in Bitcoin as a long-term investment, but I'm not, like, I don't have a ton of Bitcoin, and I've had various amounts at various times, and people keep telling me like it's gonna go really high by the end of the year, so you should buy more. And I always want to buy more, but I have a family, I have a life, I have things to spend my money on, I have bills to pay, and Bitcoin is only one of many priorities. But now that I'm on a heater, maybe I'll buy a chunk. All right, 10-7, we check called the flop. We have queens on another table though, so let's just look at the queen's hand. This guy, the other man, is calling. I think 10-7-6, we probably should check with queens, although it's a low frequency bet. I rolled a 1 though, so we're just gonna fold. We're just gonna check. Oops. I rolled a high frequency, or I rolled a 3-bet with 6-7 suited on a different table. I don't think we can fold here to Capone. It's not a great spot though. We're just gonna call. We do have some 10x in range, so he can't just like go nuts. That's an okay river. I actually think that this is a mistake on his part by not going larger here. And I think I get to call more because he didn't bomb the way he's supposed to. He has 10-6. Wow. He doesn't just have a 10, he has a 10 and a 6. Jeff says, do you think there might be too many players at this year's WSOP? Remember the first year of Colossus? I do not think there is any such thing as too many players. I only think that's the case if you are a guy who only plays cash games and doesn't ever want to play tournaments. But if we ever reach the point where we're vaguely close to there being too many tournaments to play, or too many guys playing tournaments, too many people playing tournaments, you should not be playing cash games. You should be playing those tournaments, because those tournaments are value if the poker rooms are full to the brim like that. So I know there's a lot of you guys out there who don't like tournaments, but that's where the money is, guys. I am telling you, that is where the money is in this game these days. So if we get full poker rooms and not a cash game running in town this summer, I will be delighted with that. All right, let's go bottom left. We have King Queen, limped pot, blind on King Queen 10. I'm gonna bet fairly medium sized again. And we're gonna bet pretty large. I don't think Ace Jack is really in range for this guy here, so I don't think, or Jack 9 maybe, but we can bet around pot. Expect to get called here by a king, maybe a queen, fairly often. Yeah, we got called. There we go. So things are going pretty well. Running pretty good. Can't complain by any means. I think we're going to wrap it up. I tell you what, guys. I will be generous and I will give you, because it's going well, I'll give you an extra half hour. So we're going to wrap it up at 7:30 Pacific. Gregory Deckelman, I like that question. How much thought went into your screen name considering the wide range of play on words available to name Hunt? Good question. Not a ton of thought, but I do like my screen name. I hated my old screen name on PokerStars and stuff, so I like my screen name here. We're going to check back this Queen 10. It's a good spot to have some Queen X in our check back range. Chris Price, what is up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Long time no speak. A whole pandemic has gone by since you and I spoke, Chris. I hope you're doing well, man. I got a nasty email about Zoom and I wasn't even in a call. That's funny. Yeah, you got to be real careful about Zoom, but I don't think they're averse to streaming at all. We're going to bet half pot on this river. I think that's a pretty good size here. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine they'd be like averse to people streaming on this site. Like, there's just no detriment for them. There's no disadvantage for them. But yeah, my screen name, Bracelet Hunt, I quite like that. I quite like it. I did have another one, like before I moved to the US long term, and I actually, like before I got my own bank account, when I was playing, I was playing on an account that I think technically my wife set it up. I can't remember what I was doing. I was playing on WSOP.com and I had an account, but I didn't have my own bank account to link to it. So when I got my own bank account, I had to like set up a new account, I think. But this was like 2016 or something. But like 2017 was when I moved to the US permanently. And at that point, I was able to set up an account and register as a Nevada player, as opposed to an external player who was in Nevada. Pocket fours, we're going to raise blind on blind against Genji, pretty deep. We're just going to check back on this flop. This is a pretty bad flop for our range. Fours are not actually fours are not a bad bluff candidate here. Multiple streets. Let's go a small bet. We might. I would have tripled off on some runouts with a low pair here, but not on this one. It's a bad card. We do still have some showdown value. Yeah, Jack 9, we lose. That's fine. So yeah, we're going to go until 7:30 Pacific time. So that's another 48 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys have questions about homeschool, about the curriculum, about upcoming content on the site, whatever questions you have, throw them at me, launch them at me over the next 48 minutes. And if the question is, how do you run so good? I'm afraid I don't have any answers. If I did, I would be teaching that instead of teaching how to play good. Okay, ace 9 against acro gum, king 9. It's a good spot for a small bet. This hand is going to favor a small bet here quite consistently. It's not quite a range bet board. I'm at the point now where I very rarely go with a range bet strategy in cash game environments. Because I think the days when people just radically overfolded are kind of not as, like, they're not, it doesn't happen as much as it used to, you know. All right, we've got pocket 5s on top right. We're going to peel the button here. This is a hand where theoretically we can 3-bet some frequency here, but peeling I think is going to function a lot better. I'm playing against pretty much the same 5 players in most of the tables here, which is kind of interesting. It's a strange dynamic. I'm not used to it as a tournament player. We're going to check back. Now, yeah, I think we just basically check back a lot here. We check back, and we lose to 6s. That's frustrating, but not to worry. So I think so far, I think the total count so far is, I think we're up like $1,200, something in that area. Something in that kind of region. Ace Jack, we're gonna obviously open in the hijack right here. If we get 3-bet, this might be a 4-bet candidate, but depends on the position. Okay, we are actually 3-betting pocket 6s from the big blind here because we rolled quite high. It's not a bad 3-bet candidate. It's a decent spot to just bet range in 3-bet pots. So the range bet in a 3-bet pot is a lot more reasonable than the range bet in a heads-up pot. This guy should have some raises here. Boo, 24-hour stream or riot, says Andre. Wow. Andre, you have more faith in me than I do, man. I can't stream for 24 hours. I can't do anything for 24 hours. That's a fold. This is not a bad spot to check raise with Jack 7 here. It's a good candidate for it. Oh, well, we don't need to now because he didn't bet. So we're just going to bet. And now I think we just bet like 12. Probably get looked up, but yeah, get looked up by a 10. That's fine. Okay, so Queen Jack in this spot. This is a bad calling candidate against the 3-bet. I think we just fold there. King Jack. We could. King Jack is not a bad 4-bet candidate in this formation. I think we should 4-bet some frequency here. So let's go pretty small 4-bet, considering it's a pretty large 3-bet. Okay, Queen Jack 7. Very low SPR here. Oh wait, whoops. Sorry, sorry guys, I didn't realize I was on the wrong table. We're gonna make it really small. $45. Oh wow. Wow, we just binked that jack. I think we have to check now. I think we should check. Yeah, that 9 doesn't mean a lot. He doesn't have king 10 suited very often here. We also block the diamonds. I think he would expect me to not have too many diamonds here. And he has a lot of ace queen type stuff, so I'm just going to shove. And he folds. He's not folded. Okay. You probably just had ace 10 or ace king or something. So I'm looking at that, like, I'm looking at that message from Andre. 24-hour stream or riot. What does riot look like in this case, right? What does that look like? What does a riot on a Twitch stream look like? Maybe Andre can tell me. Andre is a Twitch guy. Andre knows Twitch like the back of his hand. I bet the population of Twitch could find a way to riot on a Twitch stream. I could break down some hands from this stream on stream at some point for you guys if you'd be interested in that. I think that would be a fun sort of study tool. Taking some of these hands that have appeared on stream and putting through a solver. Ace Queen, we're going to bet here, small size. Don't have a big nut advantage here, but we can bet some hands, particularly hands with a queen. Heart turn is bad for this hand. We're going to check it back. We do still have some showdown value here. We beat ace 10, we beat ace 7, stuff like that. What video do we need to comment on to get entered in the homeschool giveaway? Got my fingers crossed. Can't wait to see your class. Thank you. And the answer is, I don't know. Maybe if Andre or Andy are in chat here, they can possibly answer that. Okay, Acrogum is opening. We're going to 3-bet here with ace 4 suited. Do you contribute content for the homeschool curriculum? Yes. The homeschool curriculum is each coach kind of like we come up with it together, and then each coach sort of takes the lead on their own portion of it, really. And for me, I think that the most useful stuff to cover is the stuff that is applicable in a lot of different scenarios. So spots that, stuff that covers a wide range of different situations that players come up against pretty regularly. A shortcoming of some training content, I think, maybe not necessarily that much of it, but some of it definitely. We're going to barrel here. King Jack offsuit in a 3-bet pot. A shortcoming of some training content is that I think it gets a little too micro in the analytical sense of just analyzing one hand. I like to look at larger trends. I like to look at what the game tree looks like as a whole. I like to look at things that we can learn from to understand the principles of how No Limit Hold'em works. Because if you can understand the principles that govern the math of this game, you understand the entire game. As online cash seems to go at these stakes, it's playing surprisingly fairly face up to me. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen a lot of showdowns, right? I don't think that we've seen a lot of showdowns, but at the same time, like, I don't expect these games to be anywhere near as tough as 2.5 online would be on European sites, or even probably as tough as 2.5 online would be on, let's say, Ignition or ACR. So WSOP.com is a good place to play. 8-9 off, we open here in Acro Gun 3-bets. We're just gonna fold right there. Blind on blind, 10-8. We rolled high, so we're just gonna raise. We rolled a 93. Ace deuce off, believe it or not, it's actually a fold in this spot. 200 plus big blinds deep against the small blind, 100 bigs deep against the big blind. Ace deuce off, not a good hand, even on the button. Ace deuce off is just generally trash. Any hand in a deuce, anytime with a deuce in it. Generally pretty bad in cash games. Pocket tens. Top right. Genji is going to call. This is a good spot to c-bet. We don't really want to c-bet too large, but I think something like 9 is going to cut it pretty well here. And we get a fold. This Genji guy seems to play pretty face-up, more so than a lot of them. Okay, ace-king, top left. Genji's opening again. We're going to make it our usual size. Something in the region of 4.5x. Genji's only 100 deep. Don't expect to get flatted that often here. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is a great flop to just bet incredibly tiny on. This is one of the most static flops in the game. We're going to make it 17. Super small. Less than 1/5 of the pot. Like 18% pot. Just highly likely that villain is going to struggle to defend range here effectively. Wow, we get raised? We get raised? That's a weird one. Ah, excuse me. We're going to call. We're going to check the turn. Getting raised there is very bizarre. We're going to call, obviously. I wonder if he just... No, he can't have ace-3 of hearts. I mean, he's got to just have a bluff. Like, we can't fold. Ace-king. All right. Whatever. I mean, his flop raise there is really weird. Like, I don't know what he thinks he's getting value from. I mean, I guess he gets value from worse ace-x, but, like, I would fold a lot of worse ace-x there. He doesn't have a lot of bluffs. Okay, Capone is opening. We're going to 3-bet the 9s here. Fairly deep, so 3-betting 9s is pretty reasonable in position here. Andre, those are some good riot emojis. I love that. Okay. We're c-betting the 9s. Sorry guys, I have like hands on all 4 tables right now that I'm trying to play through. Okay, we're facing an overbet with one hand. We're going to fold. 9s, we're going to check back. Oops. And now we're going to check back again. We lose the 10s, that's fine. Okay, this is alright. This is fine. I would definitely watch that kind of analysis from some hands. Cool, okay. We might do that then. We might do an analysis stream sometime. We'll just run some spots through PO. Pocket 6s we're opening. We're going to call the 3-bet. The pocket jacks we also have. And Acro Gum is calling us. We're playing hands against Acro Gum everywhere. This is a spot where I think we want to have a fairly high check back frequency on a board like this. Ace 6-3, all clubs. Do check back pocket jacks. Okay, so pocket 6s, we called the 3-bet. It came queen 7-7. I think we're just going to fold the underpair there. He leads out for 12.99. That's a weird one. I guess it's because it's exactly half pot. We're just going to call. We unblock a good chunk of bluffs here. Oh, he just checks. Okay. It's tempting to value bet, but I think this is just a check back. Yeah. I kind of like how deep we're getting here because we're playing hands against a lot of the same players. You know, we've got 200 bigs here, 180 here, 300 here, 200 here, basically. Sorry, I'm just scanning through hands. Like, let me do that again. Sorry. We've got 220 here. We've got about 180 here. We've got 230 or something here. And then we've got almost 300 down. Oh, almost 300. 200. Sorry. I am getting so mixed up. We have just under 200 here, and then we have almost 300 here. Sorry, guys. My allergies are starting to kick in as well. In the evenings here, my allergies get really bad. I apologize if I'm like sniffing and coughing and stuff a bunch. All right, we got ace-3 suited. This is... We could 3-bet here, but it's not a... Yeah, I'm going to fold. You guys will notice that I'm not playing a call strategy from any position other than the button and the big blind. It's just because of rake. It doesn't incentivize us to... Oh, and the small blind, I can play a limp strategy, but it does incentivize playing a pretty aggression-heavy strategy. Pocket nines, we open. Genji 3-bet us. We're going to call. Good flop. Definitely not going to be folding this flop. He bets pretty small. It's actually quite tempting to check raise here. I think there's a good amount of value or good amount of benefit to the check raise. We're going to check raise fairly small because in 3-bet pots, small check raises in 3-bet pots tend to work quite well. Now we get it through. That's nice. In general, you just want to kind of think about what does the player pool not do much of, and check raising in 3-bet pots is something that the player pool doesn't do a lot of. Muckwile P says, "Hey Matt, is such video content planned for SFW? I would like it, love." You have to tell me what type of content you're talking about. So, because the stream is on a 5-minute delay, I've kind of forgotten what we were talking about. So if you can reference like what type of content you're talking about, just bear in mind the delay. That's all. Queen 7 suited. I think I can probably open this into Genji's big blind. It's a little wide, but it's probably okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that I've been running really hot in this session, but I feel pretty comfortable in these games. Like I definitely do not feel out of place in these 2-5 games. I haven't played a ton of cash, but I've studied it a fair amount, and I feel like my understanding of theory is sound enough that I can navigate in most environments. And certainly, while 2-5 online cash is a bit of a new one for me, it's not one where I feel like I am out of place. We got queens in the big blind. So we are definitely going to 3-bet. The other man. We're 3-betting pretty large from the big blind here. Gonna make it 52, something like 5x. And he just folds. Disappointing. One thing that we've also been thinking of doing content-wise is doing like an MTT workshop kind of thing, like where it would be a stream, let's say on a, I don't know, like a Wednesday night like this, where I would just be breaking down tournament hands that I played recently, or that, you know, maybe just interesting tournament hands from different outlets, maybe. Not necessarily like prepared content, but just maybe like a 90-minute stream where you guys could just kind of show up and get some good MTT content on a regular basis. Okay, so Jack 10, we're going to bet. Oops. The King 10, we're going to bet quite large here. It's a good spot for a large bet on this board. The deep stacks here, we need to kind of give the Ace X in villains range a relatively bad price. That ace on the turn is quite bad. So we're going to check, I think, now. I think we will potentially bet if check 2 here, because we do still unblock a lot of the pocket pairs and stuff, but now, okay. So we don't have a lot of flushes here. Yeah, we're just gonna fold. Okay, so top right, we have 7-6 suited. We called on the button. 3-bet from the small. Original raiser calls. We're gonna call again because we're very deep against this original raiser. Small SPR against the original 3-better, against Acrogum. Higher SPR against Genji. Kind of creating an awkward multi-way spot for both of them here, but I think that's good. Except now we're just going to have to fold. Bottom right, we are going to squeeze with the Ace-3 suited. It's a pretty decent spot for that. Anesthetize, probably expecting a fair amount of folds. I'm surprised to see a calling range in the small blind from Acrogum here. I'm surprised because generally it's very hard to execute a calling strategy. 200 big blinds deep, no antes, small blind. Very, very difficult to do that. Now, this is a board where equity-wise, I think I'm way ahead. Don't expect to ever really get raised. We're going to bet really small. Going to bet like 20% of pot on this Ace-4-4 rainbow. Incredibly static board. One of the most static boards in Nolan Hold'em. Don't think Villain is going to have an easy time defending against this sizing. I think a lot of players are going to make mistakes. He's thinking about something. I don't know what he's spending so much time thinking about here. Okay, we have Ace Queen suited against the same player on a different table. We're going to 4-bet this one. It's a pretty good 4-bet spot. We're a little bit deeper than usual. Oh, he actually folded. He actually folded on the Ace-4-4. Ace Queen suited is a pretty good 4-bet in this formation. We get called. We're going to bet really small now. 4-bet pot out of position. 43, something like that. He's probably getting really frustrated by these really tiny bets. At least that's the goal. Because at these low SPRs, these tiny bets work really well. Because it's really hard for him to raise, hard for him to fold. Ace Queen of Diamonds is not a good candidate for barreling again on this 6 of Hearts. I don't think he has a lot of strong hands here, but we would have liked to pick up some kind of equity in order to justify the barrel there. So the check is going to function okay, I think. He bet small. I think now we probably just have to fold. Yeah. All right, top left, we had pocket 6s under the gun. We checked. He bet small. We're going to raise because check raising here has a lot of equity denial benefits. Now we're going to check the turn, hoping for a check-check. But it's not out of the question to go for the double check raise here. We might go for the double check raise. I don't think he has a ton of spades. He just bet really fast right there. I don't want to make decisions based on timing tells necessarily, but the Jack of Spades is a card that I don't think there's that many spades in his range there. I'm gonna call Ace. It's not a great card. That's 180. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of repping a flush or a 3, or maybe a flush or a 4. I don't think there's a ton of Yeah, I just don't think there's enough bluffs there, maybe. Let me fold. So XV says, watching through the S4Y streaming channel. I do not always stream through here. I have a Twitch channel, which is designed at creating a community around mental health awareness. So I stream on Twitch. Mental Health Matt is the name of the channel. Why not 3.5 to 4x with that queens? Do you mean with the 3-bet? We don't really want to incentivize a call. We want to just play our range the way we're going to play it. And in the big blind, as I was, we want to have a pretty large 3-bet frequency, because our 3-bet range is generally going to be a little bit more polarized. So that's generally why. How is your curriculum for homeschool 2.0 different from the concepts you cover on S4Y? So generally, when it comes to the concepts we put out on S4Y as a whole, each course is going to have a theme. Excuse me. Each course is going to have a theme. The difference when it comes to homeschool is that it's all structured into a learning experience, and you've got 5 different coaches delivering it. Now, when it comes to how my part of homeschool specifically, oh, we're going to call with ace queen here, by the way. Yeah, he has aces, that's fine, whatever. When it comes to my part of homeschool specifically, one of the things that you're going to get from my sessions in homeschool that you won't get on the site is a lot of analysis based on large sets of solves that I've done for, man, I can't believe we just flopped trips. We just flopped trips with ace 3. That's nuts. I've done some aggregation reports using Peer Solver. You're going to get to see a lot of info from that. We're also going to be looking at some data from Monka Solver outputs, some solved ranges and things like that, which are kind of hard to get hold of commercially. So there's going to be a lot of info there that looks at equilibrium concepts and isn't always that easy to access. From my sessions, that's the goal, to explain equilibrium in new ways, to look at solver outputs in new ways, to produce new data that's interesting for you guys. Ace 10, we're just going to call here, blind on blind. Okay, we got 20 minutes to go. We're down a little bit over the last sort of 10, 20 minutes. But we're still looking in good shape. We're going to bet fairly small here with the ace 10. Oh, we got aces on another table. Let's switch to the aces table. Over there. Okay, Acrogum is 3-betting me. That's good news. We're going to 4-bet him again. We're going to make it like 117. He calls. We flop top set. Of course we do. We're going to bet 43 like we did before. We're at a bit of a higher SPR than we were before. Oh, that's a really good card. I have to check now. Like, I'm going to have to check almost my whole range here because this is such a good card for him. He checked back. Okay. That's fine. I think that we can just jam. I think that's not a bad play here. We have a decent chunk of hands that are going to be able to put some pressure on his bluffs. Although we do block a lot of his bluff catches. Yeah, I think I'm going to jam anyway. I have the feeling this guy's capable of... okay, never mind. I have a feeling this guy's capable of bluff catching fairly light. And I also thought that he was capable of checking back a jack with some frequency there. And of course, if he checks back a jack, what I don't want is for him to just call against a smaller bet and not raise me all in. So kind of felt like just getting max value on the occasion where he does have a jack or potentially the other ace is really important there. Okay, ace 9. We're going to c-bet here because we are going to get called by some worse ace highs. Ace deuce, sorry, ace 3, ace 4, stuff like that. Okay. We get check raised. I feel like we just kind of have to fold now. This is not a great candidate for continuing against a check raise. So we just fold. Table 4, we have king 9 suited. We opened under the gun. It went check back on the flop from eyes wide shut here, who flatted in the cutoff. And we bet turn and he folds. Table 3 or table 2, bottom left. 5-4 suited. This is going to be we're going to roll for an open here, but we rolled pretty high. Now we rolled low the second time. I could 3-bet that hand, but I'm not going to. It's not a high frequency 3-bet. It's a very low frequency 3-bet. So we're going to ditch it. 17 minutes, guys. So if you have questions, get those questions in there. Ace queen suited. It's going to be pretty much a pure 3-bet here. We could flat with some frequency, but I think 3-bet is going to work well. Anesthetize doesn't seem like the kind of player to give me a ton of trouble. Certainly Acrogum is the one that I've been battling with the most. And I think that he's the one that seems to have put me in the most difficult spots so far. Oh, ace king suited. All right. Same table, same story. We're going to 3-bet. Thanks for Din seems to be, you know, competent as well. I assume that's short for thanks for dinner. But I don't know. Maybe it's thanks for something else. Oops. Almost made a very large misclick there. Almost raised to $112 instead of $12. I remember back in the day when people used to do the fake misclick. That was fun. All right, we're going to peel with this one. King 10 suited, clear peel in this spot. We're just going to fold here, so let me go back to table 1. Ace queen, we bet twice. I think we can probably bet again, but villain does have some hearts. So we're going to go for a moderate size with the ace queen here for 3 barrels. And he just folds. Okay. That's fine. King 10 of hearts again here. We open. Oh. Ace jack offsuit. We are going to call on the button right here against this hijack open. We get an overcall, which is a little strange, but Acrogum has shown a propensity to call a little bit. We flop top 2 pair. I'm just like, I just make hands all the time. I just flop good hands every single time. That's basically how this game works. He's betting a sort of moderate kind of size. I don't think I really want to have much of a raising range here because it's really hard for me to have bluff raising candidates. So I'm just going to call, especially given that I basically block a lot of the hands that I would probably be trying to get value from. So this hand is going to pretty much call down a lot and not really raise. He's overbetting now, which is great because he's overbetting into an uncapped range. I'm not capped here, or at least I'm capped at in the sense that I can still have pocket deuces. I can still have ace jack, ace deuce. Okay, so he checks. I feel like now when he overbets river and then overbets turn and then checks river, I can only really bet fairly small. I don't think there's really much in my range that's going to want to now bet large into a range of his that's fairly polarized. And he just check folds. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to happen a lot. Like when he overbets turn and then checks river, he's just going to do a ton of check folding. All right, we've got 13 minutes, guys. 13 minutes until 7:30 Pacific when we're going to wrap things up for tonight. And we are currently up about $1,200, which is nice. 1,200 American dollars. Table 4, blind on blind, king 7 offsuit. We raised pre. We're going to check on this queen 7-5 flop. Villain bets $8. We're going to check call. This hand probably wants to raise with some frequency here. I wouldn't be surprised if it wanted to raise. Now it's just going to be a check. Probably a check call. Don't think he has a queen very often. Don't think a lot of ace-x bets the flop. I think he has a lot of 8-6, 9-8. A lot of that stuff still left. So let's see. 6-3. Okay, there we go. Close enough. All right, that hand worked out pretty well. And now we have kings in the small blind over on table 1. So let's 3-bet to our usual kind of a size. Anesthetize, thinking about it. Okay, this is a good flop for us. Probably the excuse me, probably the kind of flop where we can actually bet fairly large in a 3-bet pot, because there's a good chunk of equity to deny here. There's a lot of gut shots and stuff like that, and he just folds. That's fine. Ace Jack, easy open on button. Okay, versus a 3-bet and a cold 4-bet, we're just going to fold there. Table 2, or table 3, I think it is. I don't know if it's table 2 or table 3. We got ace king suited, so we're going to 3-bet. Doesn't matter what table it is. We can go large again because we're 3-betting from the big blind. Okay, bottom left, we are going to 3-bet the ace-7 suited because we rolled pretty high. Okay, so 10-10-4 here. I think this hand is going to play better as a check. We're going to check a fairly high frequency here. Villain's range definitely contains a good chunk of 10x. My range does still contain a good chunk of 10x when I 3-bet in the big blind, but Villain's probably has more. We flop two pair with the ace-7, so we're going to bet there, and then we're going to go over here, and we're going to bet $31. 31 American dollars. And he just folds. That's fine. They folded in both spots. We bluffed with the ace-king. We bet with the ace-7 for value, and they just folded a lot. So yeah, like I say, feeling pretty comfortable in these games. Obviously, it's very easy to be comfortable when you're just running really good, but I don't feel like the villains are putting me in a ton of really tough spots. I don't feel like I'm being, you know, like run over at all. I think I feel like I have a pretty good handle on what my pre-flop ranges are supposed to look like, and staying pretty in line, but also, you know, winning a good number of pots. And that's kind of how we want it to go. And we are up about 2.5 buy-ins, I believe, still. Oh, we're now up almost 3 buy-ins. We're up about $1,300, something like that. So very happy with that. Very happy with that one, if that's the way it turns out. But there's still 9 minutes. We still got 9 minutes, so we still could just lose. We could just lose everything. We could go broke, but I hope we won't. Bad time to go broke. I do not want to go broke the year before a huge World Series happens. Okay, ace-7 off, blind on blind. We rolled really high, so we're going to raise. Play some more pots against Acro Gum here. Ace-7 suited, fairly easy raise. King Jack, this is going to be fairly easy to defend. The ace-7 suited, they just folded. Okay, so he checked back. I don't expect villain's range to be especially protected when he checks back here, and I do have a spade in my hand here, so I think I can actually bet fairly large on this turn. Okay, we block Jack 10, which is great. So we're going to bet here. We're not going to bet massive, but we do have a lot of strong hands in our range here. $38, something like that. 38 American dollars. We have Ace King top right on 10, 7, 6 of clubs. Did he call with aces? Or he folded aces? I called with aces. Oh, whatever. Okay, we're going to check. That's fine. I mean, he actually thought about it with aces, which is a good sign that he's going to be folding a lot of his range there. Okay, we're going to be check raising here with the 5-3 suited, but we're going to be check raising quite small because when villain bets large, we generally want to check raise fairly small. Okay. Thanks for the stream. No, see you at homeschool. No problem, Jeff. Glad to see that you're going to be at homeschool. We're going to check the turn there. We have kings on another table. We're going to check call. Oh, we 4-bet the kings and we got to fold. We're going to check call the 5-3 here because villain definitely still has some floats. What are my bluffs on that? Ace, Jack, Deuce, 6, 7, board, river. I would still have some queen 10s, some king 10s possibly, but ultimately it's not likely to be a board where I have a ton of bluffs because it's really hard for me to call the turn with those hands. So that's part of why I bet small, because whenever I don't have a lot of bluffs, it's really difficult for me to justify using a large sizing. Ultimately, villain's line was bad, and that's why we ended up in that spot, because villain used an overbet size in a spot where a good chunk of my range has to fold even to a much larger size. So he kind of put a lot of pressure on my Jack X, but my Ace X is still going to call, and my gut shots are just going to easily fold. So I don't really like villain's approach there. I don't think the turn overbet was very good. We made a flush with 5-3 suited. I think this is a decent spot to check because we unblock a lot of the types of hands that might value bet after checking back flop. Now we're just going to bet the river. And he just folds. Okay. So this guy, the other man, has been opening these large sizings sometimes. I'm just going to call with the 9-8 suited on the button because we're pretty deep and I want to kind of figure out what these large sizings mean. Oh, we get squeezed. That kind of sucks. Yeah, this hand doesn't play very well against a squeeze like this. I think that these middle suited hands are really awkward against squeezes, so I'm just going to fold. All right, we're bringing it home. We've got 4 minutes to bring it home, guys. I want to stack somebody in this 4 minutes. Let's stack some fools. Pocket deuces. Gonna open this in the cutoff if it folds to us. It's a non-zero 3-bet in this spot. No, it's a fold. What am I doing? I'm like trying to come up with excuses to make these 3-bets and stuff, and it's just a bad idea. Yeah, the Ace Jack Deuce 6 7 board it's definitely just not a board where I'm gonna have a lot of bluffs. Yeah. I mean, I could turn a jack into a bluff maybe, but that's tricky. Do I stream cash games on Twitch? Not really. I have done a little bit. But my Twitch channel is more just kind of an entertainment thing. It's not really that heavily poker orientated. And I imagine that going forward, whenever I do stream poker, I'm going to probably do it via the S4Y channel, because it just seems like it's a good opportunity for me to share it with you guys. And there's no reason why I should be streaming poker on my channel to 15 people when I could stream it on the S4Y channel to a lot more people. You guys can get some value from that. So I think that I will probably just, on Twitch, I'll be streaming video games, mental health stuff, all kinds of things like that. The poker stuff will stick to the S4Y channel, most likely. But who knows? We'll see. Obviously, I can't stream at the same time as Berkey streams on this channel, but between myself, Berkey, Chin, Landon, Nick Marchington, I think you'll get a lot of streams from us over the rest of the year. I'm going to try to make those streams pretty regular for you. Okay, 6-7 suited opens. 6-7 suited is the kind of hand where if we open with it in this spot, it's going to play basically as a pure call against a 3-bet. So I think we should call, but not before tanking for a little while. Ooh, okay, Queen 9-5. We flopped a gut shot and a backdoor. We might check raise here. We might be going for that check raise in the 3-bet pot, guys. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. This could be a big one. He's gonna check back and be a boring bastard, isn't he? He's tanking. He's thinking about it. Okay, so he went with about half pot. I think we can check raise here. I think we can, and I think we should, and I think we will. I think the check raise size that we want is probably a moderate kind of a size, like 115 or so. I think that's good. We definitely have some value hands here that can do this. We have some ace queen, some king queen, some 9s, some 5s. We also have some jack 10. Oh, we made the straight. We made the straight, but he has jack 10 suited in range. Okay, I think we're actually going to check here, because a lot of our range that does check raise this flop wants to check this turn. We don't want to just polarize to the point where we're trying to tell him that we have jack 10 here. I think checking is going to work really well. We might even be able to go for the double check raise. Okay, he checks back. That's good. Now, I think I'm torn between bet fold and check raise again. I think bet fold. Yeah, I don't think he has a lot of bluffs here when we bet and he shoves. So we're betting 215 here. And he just folds. Okay, never mind. We didn't get to stack the guy, but that's okay. All right, that's going to be the last hand, guys. It is 7:31. So I think we're going to wrap it up there. Andre, thank you for being my assistant in this process. Thank you for training me on how to use OBS like a noob that I am. And thank you everybody who's been here. Thank you, Andy, for showing up and answering some questions about homeschool. Thank you everybody for being part of the chat. I appreciate you guys very much. I look forward to doing this again. This has been fun, guys. We might do some MTT studying. We might do some studying from some hands from this session. Whole bunch of stuff that we might do. But in the meantime, guys, everybody take care. Everybody run good in the way that I have been doing. Learn from me about how to run good. You just have to just will for it to happen and the flops will come. So thanks everybody. I will see you all very soon. Take care.